At one time, there was a golden age, the age of greatness. Then there were the forgotten times. But now, we're in an age of darkness.
You're all pink!
But then came a time of two heroes, bringing back the awesome to slay the silliness of our woke overlords. We can only pray they are not too late.
Hello, my green skins, and we are at 100 subscribers. That's kind of awesome. Thank you, everybody. Today we have Dark. Unfortunately, Erwin's going to be busy for the next little bit. He said he'll come back when he comes back. So we lose an editor. So we'll be using Dark. Will be our editor right now. I got to get something going so I can get these guys a working wage, so I don't lose editors anymore.
Yes, I am too
Yes.
busy to keep editing, so I don't see myself being long term.
I don't see a lot of people being long-term. And as much as I could do the editing, I lose out on having fun with another person doing these videos. So it's like, fuck that. Anyway, 100 subscribers. We're going to do we'll probably keep this going all the way up through Halloween. And then after that, we will see how it goes. If we get enough that I can actually warrant having a Patreon, I'll put a Patreon up. All right. So we are going to be doing a movie that nowadays would be considered offensive, fat shaming, a child abuse, sexual harassment and assault, and one of the best 80s movies of all time. What movie are we doing?
We are doing... Oh, God, we're doing Goonies.
Goonies!
Goonies!
Goonies! The most 80s of 80s movies. Like, this movie is so 80s that if you looked up the music video, a bunch of wrestlers show up, and that girl that screams, that does that sound every time she talks, is legitimately in it.
Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah. The one who's like, half her songs are her screaming at high pitch, which works for Goonies. And apparently those fans of Obi-Wan Kenobi, God, that movie, that show sucked. Nothing like hearing a decent actress spend her entire time yelling at everybody and sucking.
Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die!
And getting your ass kicked by Darth Vader. God, that show sucked. Just as much as Breath of the Wild. So, Goonies. God, this is so fucking 80s. It is really one of the most 80s of 80s. Like, on the 80 meter.
And not
in the best way. In the best ways. I don't know what this guy's talking about. That's unfortunately. He doesn't speak for me. I'm the guy you got to talk to about 80s. First of all, let's break down the story. This was done by, I believe, Christopher Columbus and directed by
Christopher Columbus?
Was it Chris? No, it's Chris. Is it Chris Columbus or whatever? I can't remember his name now.
Richard Donner?
No, Richard Donner, but this was screenplayed by Chris something. The power of Wikipedia. He'll put up the Dark could just put up the names of the directors. This movie starts off, we have a mobster in jail, and the mobster's like, "You idiot." He kind of has himself being hung. And then as the guy pulls out the letter, it's like, "You idiot, did you really think I would hang myself?" And so he knocks him unconscious.
This so stupid!
And then he steps down, and you see that he actually put piping behind his back to properly, brace himself. As he's properly braced, he, jumps out and gets away. Meanwhile, it shows his brother and his mother doing their job. and they're basically preparing to get him as he escapes. He escapes, and then they literally prove themselves by having all this cool abilities of
Driving.
driving. Yeah, these cool drive abilities. As you actually see, all the people that are going to be in the movie actually show up in this police chase. That is kind of cool. And not only that, you get to see, like I said, the one girl is like pulling crabs out of a water bucket. The one person's doing this, and you get to see the whole character crew that's popping up. Then they escape in one of the most coolest ways. We won't spoil it, but I gotta say that is the most eventful way I have ever seen someone get away from a police car, a police chase. That was fucking brilliant.
Probably haven't seen that Steve McQueen movie.
I've never seen that Steve McQueen movie. Probably not. But that's clever. That is so clever, though. I love that way of escape where they sneak. Okay, I'll spoil it. Well, okay, our whole video should our video should just start with spoilers because we don't. These are all old movies. You're watching this to hear You're watching this to hear shock jocks talk about your favorite movies and give you a rating. That's why you're watching our videos. Come on. And to hear how we hate modern stuff, like Breath of the Wild. Can't even climb for fucking 5 feet and I feel exhausted? Bloody Breath of the Wild sucks. Anyway, you have yourself, like, they get in this race. Now, I just wonder, I gotta picture this. They technically win the race. So, do they win the race and then, like, go get the prize, then fuck off? Or do they actually just keep driving? That makes me wonder. Then we see the car passing by this one area, and then it cuts to the big house. And this is where you have one of the most coolest houses of the place. And you have yourself, you meet our two main leads, which I actually don't know their names. I know one's Mikey, I think.
And his brother Bran.
Brandon, yeah, Brand. I hear them say Brand all the time, so I was assuming, yeah, Brandon. And then we get some of the best acting from child actors.
And also some of the most annoying.
But I gotta say this, though. That is these are some of the better child actors I ever saw in a movie. Like, back in the day, come on.
For me, it's a mixed bag, because on the one hand, you've got Corey Feldman, who is a good actor, but on the other hand, you got the kid who plays Chunk.
Yeah, and Corey Feldman is okay. We'll get to Corey Feldman's character coming up shortly. You get these two people having a conversation, which is very well acted. Then we get Mouth, which is Corey Feldman's character. Mouth has some of the most funniest lines and some of the most interesting conversation piece, although sometimes he yells it, which kind of ruins it a little bit. But it's still better than any of the acting in Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die.
You're really not gonna let this go, are you?
No, I'm never gonna let this Disney Star Wars go.
Well, you're allowed to be wrong, and lucky for you, there's no law against being wrong, otherwise you'd be in jail.
So would you.
The only way I'd be in jail is if the judge was corrupt as hell.
Well, we'll leave it at that. So, we get ourselves our Corey Feldman, which has one of the most funniest scenes, but also, if you think about it, this was a kid's movie. He meets their... It was PG. This movie's PG.
This movie might be PG, but it has what I call the Spielberg syndrome, which we'll get into more detail as we go along. However, to put it simply, it has tonal issues.
I see. Here's the thing about it. With that, and this is what I gotta say. Spielberg had no hand in this. He wrote a screenplay. That's all he wrote. He wrote a story, and then someone wrote a screenplay. So he had no direction in this. This was all Donner's. This was all the main directors. So we can't say that about this one.
Even so, his directing style somehow seeped into it. I don't know if he was there as a creative consultant or whatever.
Oh, yeah, because he worked on the script. No, he wasn't a creative consultant. He worked on the story. That's it.
That doesn't mean he didn't have some level of influence. I mean, if Michael Bay was just a producer of a movie, his directing style was still...
Well, no, I would say that's hit and miss. That one... that because you could say because Michael Bay technically was for a couple movies, but we can say that this one with Mouth sitting there telling the girl, and they can't speak Spanish, so they leave it for Mouth. And some of the lines that Mouth says to this woman are absolutely hysterical. He's saying to this woman, and like the woman's like, "Animals, what the hell am I doing here? Who are these people?" And like, realizing that, not realizing this isn't, Mouth is full of shit.
So they bring this Hispanic maid to the house, and the mom can't speak Spanish, so she relies on Mouth to translate. But the kid is just making up really insane shit as he's just to scare the lady, and she's all like, "Por qué, mi Dios?
Yeah, I'm in a crazy house. Yeah, I'm in a crazy house." And so meanwhile, the boys are trying to like fix thanks to Chunk and Data, which, by the way, one of the main reasons that this shouldn't be made nowadays, aka Disney Plus should do a TV series of the Goonies, is Chunk and Data. Although Data's awesome. Data is actually pretty awesome for one reason only. He's a hardcore obsessed kid with James Bond. So Chunk, like I said, that fat shaming right there. Then we cut to the kids going upstairs and finding and starting the adventure. The adventure is these kids find a map, and this map is like a secret treasure map. So they decide, the adventurers, the four kids decide that they want to go on this adventure. And we get the theme song to the Goonies, which I don't get at all. Okay, just to touch on the music video one more time, we'll have to show a little bit of it. We can't show lots because, YouTube. But that video doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. Like, gas and a freak. You watched it. I told you to watch the music video.
Actually, I haven't gotten around to watching it.
Pause. Watch it now.
A few minutes later.
What the hell did I just watch? This was like a Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling reunion thing, except was this before or after that horrid show?
I think it was before the horror show, actually. Yeah, no, like I said before, this music video is insane. Like, I don't know what to think. Like, what is this? Other than some trailer scenes, what did that have to do with the fucking movie? This whole, like, that whole thing has nothing to do with it. So, we get our main hero group, and now Brandon chasing after these kids, chasing after his brother on a bike, and his mother saying Hare Krishna, which is it's Hare Carry, Mom. You know what I mean? You better perform this maneuver if you don't get your son. Which is kind of amusing that his mom will try to use topical words that, like, back in the 80s, if you're, watching old samurai movies and all this, like, pop culture that was the 80s back in the day. Because samurais and ninjas were fucking huge in the 80s. Like I said, this movie, as you're watching the 80s meter go up and go down, this movie's is 80s. Brandon runs into the main, one of the main villains of the show. We get two main villains sets. We get the mobsters and we get the people trying to steal, the rich people trying to steal the property of the poor people, which never happens in our society. Cough, cough. Now the kids start up, and then they finally get to the bar. We get to see the Fuccini family. What was the name of the family? Do you remember?
Fratelli something?
Fratellis, I think. They meet into them, which we have two really good actors. One, I can't remember her name, although she's been in a lot of movies. Do you remember this actress's name?
Anne Ramsey.
Yeah. She is in so much stuff. Yeah, she is in so much stuff of, like, childhood era, like like during the 80s. She's actually a really good actress, and she plays a badass in a lot of her stuff. I don't know what her early career was, but in the 80s, I know her. This movie tickles that part of my brain that, oh, I remember this. It's almost member-berry-ish, actually, in a way. That, like, I'll watch this movie, remember this? I remember. It is, but it's not like annoying member berries, like Obi-Wan Kenobi. So then we get our female two characters, which one of them I believe was Carrie Green.
Yeah, she's a weird character because almost every time she's the focus of the story, she has this urge to make up with Brandon.
Yeah, with her new boyfriend Brandon, which I get the vibe that like in high school that this is the only thing a TV show could do right. I would like to know what Brandon's like high school life is, and so you get our leads are kind of this, and the other actress I can't remember her name. I think she didn't do that much after this, but yeah, she shows up, and then they're kind of her and Mouth, which has a funny story. Those two didn't like each other the entire shooting of the movie. Apparently, there were moments where she just kicked the crap out of out of Mouth there. There's apparently a moment or two where they actually, according to the commentary, yeah, she beat the crap out of him. So we then get like the introduction of Sloth, which is which has a tragic story behind the actor who did that. We'll let you find out for yourself. But Sloth gets met at this part. We don't get to see him as he is. And we'll discuss the artwork. We'll discuss the visuals and the effects after. But yeah, we get to meet him.
The most pointless character in the whole movie.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I disagree 100%. I disagree 100%. I think he is actually a good character.
I didn't say he's a bad character. I just said his character was pointless.
Anyway, so we get to we get to them figuring out that they have to go underground. And so they find a secret passage in, and they leave poor Chunk, the poor Jewish kid, to go off and do something, and go off and get the police. He ends up getting caught instantly. Well, they go underground. Like you really, there's a scene. There's one of the best scenes in this movie, which is one of the funniest scenes. Is where poor Chunk gets caught, and they're basically going to chop off his fingers unless he tells them where they went. And they say, "Tell us everything, everything, everything." And Chunk goes off all his crimes, and his crimes were hysterical. And that was some of the best acting. If that was ad-libbed, that is even more amazing. If that wasn't ad-libbed, that's still good. If that was ad-libbed, holy shit, was that amazing. And they go off to find the heroes. This comes up with another one of Mikey's delusional conversation pieces. Like, Mikey has some moments that are, it feels scripted, but because this is an 80s movie, it works. He actually has 3 or 4 times where he says something and you're just like, this kid sells them on this adventure. Like these kids want to get the hell out of Dodge. Like, they're in this well, they have a chance to get out. But yeah, he sits there and he tells this tale of, Chester Copperpot. Chester Copperpot, weird, this is our time down, which is, by the way, one of the most memed moments. Like, that is probably the most meme moments out there. This is our time down here. We have the characters actually have this moment where they're like, they have a choice and they choose not to. And he actually convinces Andy to stay. They find another passageway. Meanwhile, the bad guys are slowly figuring out where they're going and they're following them, which leads to them running into the bad guys for the first time. And, Data uses some of his secret weapons, his James Bond tech. And so we got ourselves our kids end up finding the ship, which it has another really nice moment, a really sweet moment. Yeah. Also had a deleted scene where they fought an octopus, which they mention at the end of the thing. I didn't realize that they deleted that scene. We'll have to see if we can find a deleted scene. I think it's online. I think you even find it on YouTube. There's a deleted scene where one of the characters slaps the other character across the face. Slaps the other character across the face, like really gives him a good slap too. So the kids are finally after dealing with the quote unquote deleted octopus scene, which actually just put a big old delete scene through there. Deleted octopus scene. They have a character travel up. They all travel up, meet One-Eyed Willie, and Mikey has a really good moment with One-Eyed Willie. Then they fight the bad guys, and look who showed. Meanwhile, Chunk was dealing with Sloth, and they break free and chase after the people. And Chunk and Sloth, I gotta love those names. They show up just in time to save the day, and he beats up the adults while the kids get away. They light soaking wet dynamite, which I don't agree with, but that's it's a Steven Spielberg movie. We'll give it a pass.
You give it a pass. I won't.
So we get ourselves Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg is overrated. There, I said it.
And so we have ourselves our final finale, which leads to one of the most coolest scenes in the movie, where they have the ship comes out of the water and sails away. Although in actuality, if I was there at the time and this was real life, my ass would be going, wait, there's a bunch of gold and shit on that ship? Motherfuckers, get me a boat! And that's the story of Goonies. So, Dark, what did you think of Goonies?
Convoluted. This movie is so convoluted because there's so much going on, and a lot of which don't really add anything to the movie whatsoever. You have so many characters with their own little quirks, and throughout the movie, I'm asking myself, why is this happening? Why are we focused on this character? This movie can do without this character or without this person. And a lot of times it just drags on, and I feel like it doesn't get to the point fast enough. It prefers to just showcase the character quirks, which I don't even find endearing to begin with, but that's just me. And I have to sit through that when they could have told a better movie in much shorter time.
Okay. The story. We don't want. Now let's get to the music. I think this is some of the best music in a movie.
I do not remember anything.
I think. See, that's the thing. You could clearly tell he was getting confused, but he's a '90s kid. I don't expect much from their generation.
You have nostalgia goggles on. You can't handle the truth. But another thing I need to note is that the copy of the movie I watched had shitty sound quality. You'd expect a movie this popular and well loved would have more decent remaster.
I had a remaster of it, and it wasn't bad at all. I don't know why your quality was like. I actually owned the Blu-ray, the DVD for this, and it was actually quite good. I don't know, maybe I don't think I have the DVD, not the Blu-ray. I don't know if the Blu-ray sounds worse. And now you got me wondering, because I was thinking of buying the Blu-ray, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe now, and you're making me wonder. Maybe I shouldn't buy the Blu-ray if you're having such bad sound quality.
In fact, I needed subtitles when I was watching this thing because
really,
yeah, because it sounded really muffled in many parts of the movie.
I didn't have that problem. But I have the DVD copy. Maybe it's maybe the DVD copy is a little better than the Blu-ray. I'm not sure. Okay, well, I like the music because the music worked for what it was. That boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I hate that I have to do this. Okay, guys, be honest. You all our subscribers and everyone who joins the war band. Gotta understand, I freaking hate the fact that I can't play a couple minutes of this song. So, what did you think of the acting for this movie?
The actors were hit and miss. The adult actors did their best, but as far as the main cast goes, Corey Feldman was obviously the best one. Brandon was good, but everybody else, there's hit and miss, and the girls especially were very bad.
Well, actually, that's the thing. They weren't given much. That was the problem. Like, there's only 2 times you ever got to see Andy really emote. Like, there was a lot of acting in this movie that I was shocked by that was done by kid actors. Some of my favorite moments were when Mike Mike and Bran, there's a moment where those two are they have a conversation, and they're like talking about like losing this place, and Bran like grabs him by the neck and drags him in like as a joke, like, and what's his face goes limp. Mikey goes limp. That is so well done because that would be a brother on brother friendship.
I wasn't fixated on those scenes. I was just these were early.
Well, I was. No, but that's the thing, and there was a lot of scenes like that. When Mikey goes off on his, Mikey was really well got done in this one. Like, Melf was good, but of course, Corey Feldman was really good. Like, I can't diss Corey Feldman on the matter. I know he has bad roles that he's done, but it's like, you can't really diss Corey Feldman. It's the same thing with Macaulay Culkin. Like, he has the same, and Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg had stuff when he was a kid. Corey, all these child actors, surprisingly good. But because they were kids, you kind of also give them a pass for the few times they weren't good. Data was quite good.
I find Data to be the most annoying. But this gets me to the next point of why I don't like this movie. It's because it is a scream fest.
Wait. You got a problem with Screamfest?
Yes, I do. The kids are constantly, throughout the whole film, shouting, trying to talk over each other. I can't tolerate that.
I gotta be honest with you. This one, okay, the kids, but that's what made it real for me. Like, kids shouting, like, there's that one time where Corey Feldman's like, "This was mine! This was my wish, and it never came true." And and then he goes and gets the other money.
Just because kids in real life shout and bicker and talk over each other doesn't mean that the film has to emulate that, because the magic of filmmaking is you don't have to deal with that shit. Annoying kids are annoying whether it's in real life or whether it's in fiction or in film. Characters written to be annoying are still annoying. And moving on to another gripe I have with the film, primarily the character Sloth, which I still think was completely unnecessary. If you had rewritten Chunk's scene so that he doesn't need some muscle to reunite with the other Goonies, i.e. writing Sloth out of it, it wouldn't have changed the movie one little bit.
I think he was a lovable part. That's kind of how I look at it. But again, I also don't deny it. This fucking movie has nostalgia. I have nostalgia goggles all over this movie. I saw this when I was a kid. I saw this before I had my I had an operation. So when I was a little orkling before I had to go to surgery, this was me movie that this was the last movie. I think I believe I saw this in theaters when I was a kid, and I was 5 years old, I think, when I saw it. So yeah, this movie had a moment for me.
Yeah, but I also, it has the Spielberg problem, which to me is tone. I mean, I don't know why Spielberg insists on making something like, it tries to be serious in some scenes, it tries to be dark, but in other scenes it's humorous, it's family friendly.
It's whimsy. It's whimsy.
Like dark and horror, like, or kids light horror with whimsy, and
and I'm like, I disagree with you 100% here. When I look at this movie, I look at a movie that was meant for a movie meant for kids that has chuckles for adults, because there are moments that have chuckles for adults, and is meant to be something everyone can sit down and watch. Is it aggressive? Is it a little sexual? Is it a little A, B, and yes, it has its moments for this, but if you look at it from a 2020 lens, this movie shouldn't exist. But if you look at it from like an honest thought process, like the norms now, yeah, no. But if you look at it from that, I would show this to kids. I would show Goonies to kids all the way. I wouldn't show Monster Squad to kids because that's a little extreme. I even say that's a little much. But Goonies, yeah, fuck yeah. And I think it ends perfectly, actually. That's a funny one. I actually think this movie's not so boring. Like, I could sit down and watch this movie all the way through and not have a problem.
Well, you're weird, so
that's So what's your rating on this one?
Oh,
It's clear we're going to have a Siskel and Ebert moment here.
let's see. Let me see. Give me a moment to find out what I can praise it for. Until then, you could give it a rating.
Oh, nostalgia goggles, full on, 10 out of 10. Actual, probably 8.9 would be my pick. It has a lot of flaws, but as a kids movie, oh yeah. But again, my nostalgia goggles, take that off. It's an 8.9. It's not a 9, but it's up there.
Creative sets and decent special effects, so I guess my rating would be a 4.
A 4?
Yep, a 4.
A 4? Holy fuck. Man, that's gonna get us in more trouble than me harping on Obi-Wan and Breath for the Wild.
Who cares? What's the worst that can happen? Angry comments?
All right, so thank you everybody. Thank you for our 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for following us on this adventure. We're hoping that we can get some money to some people here eventually, but like right now as it stands, I can't. It's gonna be. We're gonna have a couple things we have to do for Halloween. We got one more review before Halloween, and then we're on to the Halloween picks. And so we'll see how it goes. Dark's going to be running the editing for now. So we might not have a lot of videos. Like it's going to be pretty much October would be our big hit. But this month, it's got one more video, and that's pretty much it for this month. So thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. Like, sub, subscribe, tell your friends. Let's get us up there so I can maybe start a Patreon or maybe get that Rage Shadow Legend money. All right, you guys have yourselves a very good one.